Batman and Robin. And Robin's got a girlfriend. But Batman's okay with it, kind of. I mean, okay with it in the sense of, my boy likes girls. Well, come on, because, come on. But just like dear old Dad, Robin has a crush on a supervillain. Because dear old Dad likes Catwoman, so Robin likes Flatline. Well, that should tell you what's coming. Afraid there's going to be some heartbreak for poor Damien. Anywho, we have always been here, a fixture of Gotham, until our image was stolen. They took our very souls and turned them into a weapon of fear, corrupted by a man who selfishly desires to own our once great city, the Batman. And he did not do this alone. No, he convinced others to follow him in his foolish crusade. Use them to take control of Gotham. He calls them family, but I know better. They are merely his soldiers. Cult of the Man-Bat, Part 1. But we are family. I got my sisters and me, and together we will take back Gotham from the false prophet. I have heard your whispers of hope, and you have inspired me. Praise Man-Bat, he hears us. This is a new look for Man-Bat, almost kind of vampirish or satanic even, especially since he's starting his own cult and everything. Last time I saw him, he was in the Justice League Dark, where he was a kindly little professorial type character, where Kirk Langstrom and the Man-Bat were one and the same. But now he's back to being a villain, although with a higher intellect. Before, he was kind of like the Lizard in Spider-Man, just kind of brutal and stupid. Anyway, go forth and follow my orders. Take back our image. The image of the bat? Well, you see, your followers are all dressed up like bats like Batman does. The only one who can really claim batness is you. That and the other actual bats. But all they want to do is, eat bugs and hang upside down to take a nap in a cave and occasionally pooping in it. This was not part of the deal, Man-Bat. I gave you some of the tech you needed so we could take down Batman and Robin. Can I help it if they love me? I needed more than just you for my calling of reclaiming my honor. And we continue to lie low, hide from Batman and the Brat? We should strike now. You promised that if I helped you gather the tools you would calm yourself, shush. Shush. Well, I guess it's a better name than shut up or clam up. Anyway, I know your heart craves revenge against Batman and his little bird. Continue the game you have been playing with them and trust me to deal with the big picture. I'm close. Soon I will show Batman. Probably going to turn everybody into Man-Bats, which again, similar to the Lizard. But as it goes, as far as the mainstream or in continuity stories, this is the best Batman book they got. So, it has its high points. The best thing about this particular issue is the regular artists returned. The stand-ins weren't so much. So, so far, so good, except for the few, again, some of the failures in artwork. Hopefully this guy or gal, I don't know, can keep producing long enough for this story to play out. but odds are there'll probably be some more substitute artists. If they're of quality, it doesn't matter, but that tends not to be the case for that, so it's unfortunate. But these days, you gotta go out of continuity for anything interesting. So here we have The Batman First Night, which takes place in Batman's original era, when he first burst on the scene. And here he is in that pose that Bob Kane drew, which he stole from I believe it was a Tarzan comic strip. But anyway, this is a Black Label story. Didn't know Black Label was still a thing. But why not just say it's Elseworlds? Well, which I think still could have, I suppose. But see, 17 plus mature, because there's naughty scenes and naughty words. So anyway, here we get another element to tell you what era this is. Bunch of newspapers warning about the shadow of war. And, I don't know, some starlets and whatnot. Anywho, hey, look, it's Gotham City. Kind of reminds you of another city, doesn't it? It should, but whatever. The Great War, the war to end all wars, gave way to prohibition, the spread of crime that followed and the economic boom of the 1920s. But death is the inevitable conclusion to all things. The good times came to an end. The Roaring '20s ushered in a Great Depression and a decade of worldwide desperation. Now a new wave of change looms over us. As the 1930s fade away, the next major transition is about to wash over us all. You might notice something about the art here. It's all a photograph. One photograph after another, inked over and colored to make it look like comic book art. It's not a new technique. A lot of people have used it over the years, including great artists like Wallace Wood. But you might want to keep that in moderation. But here, I mean, the whole page, and there's a lot of it in this series, despite the fact that the artist is good. But, well, it does save time. There is that. So, but it kind of kicks you out of the flow of it, you know. So anyway, the modern age is here. It's 1939. The next decade looms. Ripe for exploitation, mayhem and chaos are erupting all over the globe. Much of the world will burn. The horrors of the Great War will be nothing compared to what's coming. We must look at that like arms merchants. It's an opportunity, one that I have embraced and prepared for. Resources have been deployed, events set in motion. Our time has come. We will move out of the darkness and into the spotlight. Prepare yourselves and await your orders. The voice has spoken. Yes, sir. So the voice will be the main villain, I suspect. And this is kind of similar to a lot of movie serials of the day. And so probably Batman will go through quite a few lieutenants before he gets to the real boss. Yeah. He wasn't broadcasting over a radio station, but I thought it would be funny if his voice sounded like he was one of those guys. Anywho, here we are outside an Italian restaurant. Looks like another photograph. But you see, the artwork that the guy did is pretty good. But again, time saver, I imagine. Move aside. Make way for the commissioner. Gotham's murder rate is out of control, Gordon. How are you going to stop it? Some say Nazi agents are behind this. Care to comment on that? Any truth to the rumor that the victim is another councilman? Or the giant bat creature people are whispering about? Shut up already, you bloody leeches. So, anyway, it's the press. Is that guy checking that dude's butt out? Well, let's move on. What's the word, Kelly? Bartender says a couple of massive brutes came in, went to work on the victim, and left. Yeah, what a mess. Smeared his veal parmesan all over him. Hardly crucial information, Phipps. Any word on who? Oh. This is funny to you? Sorry, Commish. Long day. Nothing worth losing your head over. Well, I've censored the image just in case, you know. But that's one of those elements of Black Label Comics. The victim is missing his head. Yeah. So the commissioner says, "Enough. Where is it?" And they retrieve it, but yeah. So already off to a horrific murder and all this sort of thing. Perfect mood setting elements for a Batman story. And hopefully it works out. There is a scene in here that, although the sentiments in it are true and were certainly true at the time, it just doesn't flow as an actual conversation someone would have, especially in the situation that occurred. That kind of thing. So it's got some stumbles, a little over-reliance to, traced over, inked over photographs and that kind of thing. But other than that, I'll pick up the next issue. But, yeah, so anyway, we'll see how first night goes and see if it ends up becoming last night. Meanwhile, back in regular continuity, of the titles that Mark Waid has overseen, obviously World's Finest is the absolute best. Teen Titans, that was okay. Shazam was probably second best, but not this issue. It's all right, per se. I just particularly don't like the Creeper. And this is just one of those team-up issues, and I'm not even going to read the preview. I had technical problems in the original video I did for this episode. Now I'm having to redo it, so I just don't want to go through it again. The art's solid and all that, and as it goes, hey, can you guess who this guy is? The tie gives it away, and all that, and it's done for silliness, and it's not horrible. It just, for me, it was kind of a waste of time. Back out of continuity again for Superman 78, the Metal Curtain. And of course, this is just, hey, what if the Superman, Christopher Reeve version, of course, had continued on in other adventures? Well, now you'll find out. And well, in some elements it's bland, but at least look at these backgrounds. That guy really drew it. So there's Sam Lane. Superman meets her father. He was never cast. I guess they're going for what? Lee Marvin as her father in this. And, of course, Lex Luthor revealed that he had developed the Metallo suit that the Soviets have stolen. And so there you go. And he kind of steals the show here, but, it's to be expected. It's a fun read, and that should be enough. And so you might want to check it out just for that. Finally, for DC, is these spin-offs from Justice Society, which greatly outpaced the Justice Society series itself, in the form of the Sandman and Jay Garrick the Flash. There was a third spin-off, but never mind. So Wesley does the Sandman, a breathtaking finale. And kind of hoping they do another one. In fact, just forget about Justice Society and do Sandman and the Flash. So anyway, the things you never forget. The last time I bound a man was in 1917. German captain. His pillbox cut down 9 of our boys before we could get to him. I don't want to be doing this, Humphreys, you understand. Wesley loaned your service to me. Good help is so difficult to find. You've my word. I'll tell my men to be expedient with you. By the way, this is the Manhattan Borough, summer 1940. Doesn't look good for Humphreys. But then, Sandman enters butt first. Oh, damn it, it's that guy. Wheeler Vanderlyle, you will confront your crimes, for none can escape the Sandman's dark dream. Good God, man, you're costing me a fortune in windows. Lose the gadget gun. Plop. The rest, too. Don't make me over-explain myself. So Sandman's got to do a striptease. Fortunately, he stops at the mask, you know. You're the only family I have left, Wheeler. Turn back. Wheeler? What happened to Mr. Vanderlyle? I thought your father taught you respect for elders. Respect? Every way a man can portray, you've done to me. Colonel Breckenridge didn't name you, but he told me enough. My meeting with him was a smokescreen. He already made a backroom deal with you to manufacture his chemical weapons. The only missing piece was my research. You were always a smart boy, but naive. War ends by massacring your enemies as quickly and as inexpensively as possible. Attrition is the name of the game. So thousands should die for your war? Oh no, what happens next? Well, you'll have to check it out. I do recommend it. I enjoyed it. I've heard criticisms of the art, but I disagree. I think it fits the mood and atmospherics of the story. And wouldn't mind seeing it continue on. The Justice Society does show up in this, but yeah, I think just forget about Justice Society, do Jay Garrick Flash and Wesley Dodge Sandman, and the Justice Society guys can show up from time to time. There you go. Odds are that's not in the cards. But anyway, this was a fun run, so check it out. Meanwhile, over at Marvel, out-of-continuity stories are also the name of the game, more so at Marvel than even at DC. So here we have, well, I guess this isn't entirely out of continuity. Assuming they do see this series as the future of Marvel, or this is where Marvel ends up in 2099. The other drawback, that's not a drawback. I did like the original Spider-Man 2099. Didn't get to collect all of it as I was broke, but it was interesting. I kind of wish they had Rick Leonardi back to do the art for this series, but, well, it's not in the cards, I guess. But Peter David shows up. But the drawback to this is it's another symbiote story. It's like, good God, enough already. But I guess they just never did one for Spider-Man 2099. So right off the bat, we're into the action. So here's their version of Venom attacking the police. Hi there. He spits some acid on his face. He's not happy about it. Gritty. Oh, he had a name? Guess that shouldn't be so surprising. He a friend, a lover? What? Never mind, you know what? You can join him. Ha 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 ha. And then what the? You have a shoot, yes? Yeah. Bail. Yes, sir. Spider-Man! I've been waiting for you. Roman, this is a you. You're an undersea mutate, not this thing. Venom. The name is Venom. That's a reminder, since you seem to have forgotten. You flooded the city. You've done enough damage. Oh, I haven't even begun the damage I can do. So there's an asterisk because apparently this is picking up right after Spider-Man 2099-43. So, how about that? Talking to you is getting tiresome. Sorry I was boring you. By the way, did you know when a rider bails on his cycle as a security measure, it blows up? What? And there you go. Spider-Man wins, Venom's dead. The end. No, it doesn't go that way. But, and you kind of know where it's going to go. It's all a matter of, does this title have enough charm and twists and angles to it? I don't know about twists and angles, but so far, there's a certain charm to it. And so I'll stick with it for the time being. But man, am I sick of symbiote stories. So you kind of know where it's going to go, but still, there's, other than Ultimate Spider-Man, there really isn't much for Spider-Man these days. And this is a different Spider-Man, but, anyway, we'll see how this turns out. So finally, the current only hope for Marvel is the restored Ultimate Universe, even though it's a very different Ultimate Universe because the maker screwed things up and all that. So Red X-Men, Red Spider-Man, of course. And the other title was Ultimate Black Panther. And I'm just going to skip through this because I'm running out of time. The art is fine. Not too crazy about the mask here. And then, it's got all these extra accessories and stuff, but it's like, well, the black costume helped him, hide and whatnot. And you're going to see him coming with all that. So, but obviously, want to change up the design to differentiate from the classic Black Panther and all that. So anyway, Africa is suffering, and then they get attacked by. This is an interesting alternate take on Moon Knight, in that these two guys are consisting of Moon Knight, as Moon Knight is their movement to seize territory and everything. So this is Ra and this is Khonshu. I'm guessing they're possessed by the spirits of those gods. I'm not sure. And then here's their mercenary soldiers wreaking havoc. Some Wakandan spies witness this. One of them is saying we should help the villagers. And he said, no, we're not ready yet, or whatever. And you can see it's this wholesale slaughter by Ra and Khonshu. And it's all very sad. Meanwhile, T'Challa wakes up from a bad dream, I guess, or he wet the bed. No, he wakes up. He's troubled. He's the king. His wife. Boy, that's like sitcom shows in the 50s, And then he struts around in his underwear in front of the city and all that. Well, it's slow going. The art, again, is very good. And it's similar to Spider-Man in that the art's very good. There's some intriguing elements to it, but it's really slow. And for this issue, other than the terrible slaughter by Moon Knight, or whatever they are, the Moon Knights, I guess, not a lot going on, but it is setting the stage and whatnot. There's a terrible act of betrayal and horror in it that sets the stage for T'Challa going forward. But other than that, well, yeah. Now you could say, hey, it's the first issue, so, give it a shot. Well, here we are at the second issue. And, hey, there's the maker. I guess because he made it. So you think, oh, boy, they're going to be in a confrontation between the Moon Knight brothers or whatever. Nah, not yet. So what's T'Challa doing? Well, he's back in bed.
And a lot of this is dialogue where he's kind of being lectured by his wife and supported at the same time. But it's just dialogue that's there to fill space, I'm afraid. It doesn't really progress a whole lot. Again, there's been a betrayal, so now there's an investigation. Suspects are rounded up. Are they guilty? Are they traitors? And that sort of thing. And it's sparking fears throughout Wakanda, and it's a problem for him. And then she's like, "You need to man up." But it's what's he supposed to do, you know? All right, so he's going to deal with the Moon Knight threat, and he suits up as Black Panther finally at the very end, and it ends on a cliffhanger. So I'm guessing the third issue, things will actually start rolling, and you'll actually have some, action and adventure in a superhero title. So hopefully for the best, but it is rather slow and plodding. And in the case of Black Panther here, a lot of this is kind of repetitive scenes and whatnot about, well, he's troubled and he has a heavy burden and so on and so forth. There is this religious sect within Wakanda, and it's pretty much lifted from Dune of the Bene Gesserit in a lot of ways, or even the Oracle from 300, that kind of thing. But, it's fine. But so who's the traitor? Who betrayed him? Will it actually be his wife or his sister or someone like that? One of the selling points of the original Ultimate Universe was anything could happen. So I don't know if they're going to follow through with that again in this reboot of it, but we'll have to see. So the only big complaint is rather slow going. And that's the same problem with Spider-Man. But other than that, might be pretty good. We'll just have to see what issue 3 has to say for Black Panther. And Spider-Man as well, of course. So there you go. Wednesday Comics. And had a romp through these titles, which piled up because ran out of time last week. So we're all caught up. Gee, wonder what happens next time. Well, hopefully by then I'll have Ultimate Spider-Man number 3 under wraps, and we'll talk about that along with some other comics, Superman and stuff like that. So talk to you then.